T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
You are now tapped into the coolest reptile podcast in the world. Welcome to episode 354, Trap Talk Reptile Podcast. I'm your boy, MJ. How's everyone doing out there? What is good? If this is your first time tapping in, do your boy a favor. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. That way you're on top of every single podcast I drop here on this channel. If you're into keeping reptiles, breeding, just overall admiring, or, you know, all the above, do me a favor. You're going to want to hit that notification bell because anything relevant in the reptile industry comes to this channel and you're not going to want to miss it. Okay. I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers out there, everyone who comes and watches every single episode. Got some loyal ones out there, and I got to say thank you so much. Now, if you listen to this podcast on the other audio platforms such as Buzzsprout, Apple, Spotify, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on those platforms as well. Much love and respect. Shout out to the early birds. I see you guys. I'll get to you guys in just a minute. But if you're looking for exclusive content, if you like to tap in with some real deal keepers, people are really dedicated by the animals and really put the animals first, and really just really about this shit, man, then do me a favor. Go to the very first link you see in the description below. Join the Trap Talk Patreon family. As soon as you join the Trap Talk Patreon family, you get a link to the Discord, and that Discord will tap you in with over 170 trappers now, man. Much love and respect. The growth is real, and honestly, the Discord's popping. You can learn about anything. We always talk about anything that can actually help you grow and whatever it is that you want to work with. So much relevancy popping off in the Trap Talk Patreon Discord. So Patreon members, you're the ones that make this shit relevant. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. You guys motivate me, and I'll see you at the top. This show is brought to you by the Reptile Super Show. Okay, guys, who's ready to rock and roll? It's going down next month. Countdown is counting down. You feel me? July 8th, July 9th, Anaheim Convention Center. Get your tickets. Be ready. Reptile Super Show. It's going down. You can even catch me in person there. I'll be vending next to my homie Matthew Summers, and along other many legit, reputable breeders in the game. It's going to be awesome. I got a lot of people flying in. If you'd like to see a show in person too, definitely make sure you get your tickets for Saturday because it's going to be popping. I have some special guests coming in, and it's going to be awesome. I just got to say thank you so much, Rami. Appreciate the Reptile Super Show crew. And cannot wait to hang out with everyone who's gonna. Hey, listen, guys, I keep telling you this. Reptile Shows is where it's at. I'll prove it to you. Pull up to a Reptile Super Show, and I'll show you a time of your life, man. It's fun. No, but seriously, can't wait to hang out with everybody. Much love and respect. Go give me a follow on Instagram, by the way, Trap Talk God 619. If you want to see what I got going on other than podcast stuff, you want to see what animals I work with, if you want to see what's happening for me, breeding wise, good or bad, pretty active on Instagram. Also, a good way to get a hold of me for whatever reason. Reach out, Instagram, Trap Talk God 619. But yes, also this episode is brought to you by my good buddy Blake over at Blake Exotic Feeders. Please go give him a follow right now on Instagram. Listen, I have crazy quail diet program going on right now in the trap, and I got to say it is going swimmingly. I'm stoked. I like that I'm just not feeding my animals rats every fucking week. I don't like that. Got to be an alternative, right? Well, guess what? The alternative's here. Go to Instagram, give him a follow. If you really want to see what he has going on with his animals too, man, this guy's fucking legendary. You want to talk about running a fucking zoo farm? This guy's doing it. Big things behind his passion behind the animals. And so go check him out regardless on YouTube. Blake Exotic Animals Ranch. Big player in the industry for sure. And can't wait to hang out with you at Animal Con. And then last but not least, I will say that this episode is brought to you by the Reptarium, okay? #1 reptile zoo in the country. Big things, of course, going down at the Reptarium. If you don't follow Brian Barczyk, Snake Bites TV, I recommend you do that now because he's keeping everybody informed on what is popping off for the Reptarium. And, you know, listen, God bless Brian, man. Things are moving. And so appreciate all the love and support. And go Reptarium. Looking forward to that Legacy Aquarium across the street. That's going to be next level. Early Birds, who's ready for tonight? I know Early Birds is cracking. Listen, if you're in the live chats tonight, if you think tonight's episode is worth a super chat, or if you think you have an important question or a topic, because that all gets priority, okay? Brandon Wheeler. Seriously, though, drop a super chat and you're in the live chats. Let's get it cracking. But honestly, questions, interactions, all that is welcome in the live chats tonight. Let's get it cracking. Early Birds, who's here? Who's ready for this damn fucking podcast with Lucas? I know I am. Fulio, what's good, buddy? Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Heartland Reptiles, Jordan, Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. My homegirl, Chantel, what is up? She's actually a part of the Instagram Trap family. That's right, man. So listen, I am on Instagram. You get a hold of me, but if you want to see my exclusive stories, dude, I'm known for my stories. Hey, listen, not to toot my own horn, but bro, I smash the stories. But now I'm going to be saving all that heat for my subscribers on Instagram. Chantel, she's one of my subscribers. Thank you so much. But go fuck with my content on Instagram, man. Come subscribe and meet the Trap Talk Instagram family. Shit is popping. She's also a Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. She's an overall supporter. Chantel's my girl. Appreciate you so much. Eden from Eden's Den in the building. What's up, buddy? Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. The homie Aaron, Bosa Balls in the building. Levi, pain in my ass. God damn it. I'm just kidding. What's up, Levi? Thank you so much for being here. Sexin' and Flexin', one of the hosts for Sexin' and Flexin'. His better half isn't here. I don't know where he's at, but anyways, this is Levi, guys. TJ Rippin' Reptiles. What's up, buddy? I like that name. Tracy P. What's up, Tracy P? Does that P stand for player? I hope so. That's a nice name. Oof, man. Damn it. Apple. Okay. I got this. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty ripped. Apple. Damn it. You guys got me. Apple China. Apple Cheyenne. Apple Cheyenne Exotics. I'm just going with that. I hope I said that remotely close. If not, keep it moving. I'm so sorry. Eric's MORPH Factory in the building. What's up, player? Thanks for tapping in. NDDT. Sounds like a serious drug. Emilio, what's up? Villarino, the V-Unit boss in the building. I'm part of his subscription on Instagram. If you want to talk about joining a fucking Instagram family that's growing by the day, that's this guy right here, Villarino. Appreciate you, Emilio. Much love and respect. The homie Alex M in the building. What's up, Alex M? By the way, Emilio Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Miller's Menagerie in the building. What's up, Miller's Menagerie? Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Morph Valley Reptiles in the building. What's up, Morph Valley Morph? Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. The homie Josh in the building. Big time player in the Tree Monitor game and Beated game. Dude, you can't sleep on the homie Josh. And we're supposed to go fishing soon. Josh, plug up with me, please, because I want to go fishing soon. I'm not even joking. I want that halibut, son. Let's do it. Scale, fins, and feathers. Go fuck with my boy, Cali. He's a Cali resident like myself. Sexin' Flexin'. Hey, I hope that's you, Chris. Jesus Christ. Get Levi under control. Tennessee Constrictors. What's up, Tennessee? Keep it Tennessee. All right. Ricky, Bobby, SRT. That's my boy Shane all day, every day. Trap Talk Patreon member. And I get his finally get his merch in the mail. Hopefully soon. I was going to bitch about tracking information, but I just got it. So thank you so much, Shane. Woof. It's going to fucking report you. Big D in the building. By the way, Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Big D in the building. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. What's up? Also part of the Trap Talk Instagram fam. Huey Banks, looking like you're smoking some Banks. That's tight. What's up, Adam? Ias, man, I'm just gonna keep it moving on that. KJ in the building. What is up? Joe DeStefano. And because I like this name so much, and it just goes with the vibe of the Tonight Show, meaning we're not taking any shit from nobody. We're ending in style with my homie Joe DeStefano. Guys, let's get the super chats up. It's game time. Do what you gotta do to stay hydrated. I know I'm parched. I'm ready to fucking get some water in me right now because it's game time. Episode 354 coming at you right now. My boy Lucas covering what he has been getting down and dirty on, and that's the goddamn Slither Files. But the man's legendary and other stuff, man. So let's get down to business, guys. Get the lights up first and foremost. Lucas coming at you right now. Jay. Ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man.
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes.
Exclusive. Oh.
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the
drop. Gotta love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the club spot. Get the club to pop when I come up. Club spot, get the club to pop when I come up. Club spot, get the club to pop when I come up. Club spot, get the club to pop when I come up. Everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it.
And we're live. The homie Lucas B in the building. What's up, Lucas?
It's good, man.
How are you?
Good. I gotta ask you a question real quick.
Okay. We're live though. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What's
yeah,
up?
I've done this before.
Are you? I sound like why are we whispering?
No, I'm excited, so I'm trying to contain myself.
I don't know how to do that, but anyways, tell me what's up.
So that intro, that song, that mix, I saw you post the link to it the other day. Was that a mix that you did?
Yes.
That's okay.
That's not. You can't find that song anywhere because I never released it. There's like two original. Okay, there's an original, a remix, and then I remixed the remix. And because of the, with the actual original label not wanting to work with me on it, I could never release it technically, but I still own the song. And so I played it at my own shows that I used to DJ at, and so I was like, if anyone ever wants to hear the full song, what that full song sounds like, it's on that mix. That's why I was like, hey, if you want to dance to this shit and see how this shit really gets a Friday night really cracking off immediately, then listen to this mix. And that's
respect. I get hyped every time I listen to it.
Yeah, and I feel bad because everyone's like, hey man, let me get what is that song? And I'm like, too bad. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. But I don't know, maybe I'll drop it or something, or at least maybe put an MP3 file for Patreon members or something. That way.
Why not?
That way we get all jammed, man. But man, what is good though, Lucas? I'm glad to have you back here, buddy.
It's nice to be back, man. I appreciate you for having me on.
I like I don't know, man. Unsung hero, I feel like right now. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like you did something a lot of people wouldn't want to do. Not only, I mean, just at any level in the reptile keeping, there you had to get your hands in some mud that you didn't want to do, but who else is going to do it? I have an assumption why you did it, because it relates to the animals you keep. And then also business ties and whatnot. So at the end of the day, like I brought Rodney on and I said, I think, as much as you guys want to say he's fucking this and that, which he is this and that, we all know that there's a reason behind it. What's the reason, right? And is it a reason for him to keep it going? I don't know. I'm not here to valid why he does that, but I'm saying there was something. Don't act like nothing pissed him off. So
right.
And I'm sure people are like, well, who the fuck is this Lucas guy? And maybe not everyone, but honestly, the ones who are trying to keep on the hush aren't fans of you right now, I would say, because, like I said, you got a little bit of Samson mud on your hands, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think I've caught a little bit of heat. And, but I mean, at the end of the day, it was something that like once I ran into the information, few sleepless nights in regards to like, do I take this on? What do I do with it? I consulted with a lot of people, and at the end of the day, if I'm going to get heat for bringing awareness to probably the worst case of animal neglect that we've seen in the reptile industry ever, that's been public, then I've been telling people that I shared the photos with even before I released it. I don't make a living off of these animals. These animals are not something that supply my income. I could lose every sale and I'm still going to do what I do. And if like the reason why I went down was to try to make this public, I felt like that was a risk that I had to take. And, there are some people that are pissed off, and props to you, because this is now your third week in a row covering this. And I feel like that's exactly what we need to continue doing. And I know it's heavy shit, but at the same time, once we take too long of a break, we it ends up being thrown to the wayside, and then he's back up and running like he was before this ever happened.
Yeah, like with all due respect, but all these other fucking little weenies that try to cover this topic only want to do one video and keep it moving. Well, listen, they don't really have any ties to this shit. Well, guess who has ties? I do. I've kept reticulated pythons. I had emotionally let go of my mainlands because how much I didn't want anything to be bad for them. Like just the smallest thing was not making me feel good. Look at this dipshit. This piece of shit for 2 years running. And I'm sorry, not even 2 years. We're talking years beyond years. No one really even knows the timeline. It just really all has been okay. True or false, Lucas? People have always been bitching about Samson for I don't know how many years now. But it's a seasonal,
I mean,
is it a seasonal thing or is it not? Obviously, besides what's been exposed, people are just like, what's new? They're like, what else is new? This is just right.
And I think the whole rumor mill, right? Before this information came out, it was always it's his dog conviction, dog fighting, animal abuse, and that stuff. That was always the fact stuff, right? And then Samson has this way of speaking to convince people otherwise of what he didn't do or did do. And I mean, I gotta give it to Samson. The guy can talk, and so people would listen to that and they would kind of start to discredit some of the other stuff. But I mean, there's pictures back in like the early 2000s and 90s of his collection looking like complete shit. And then he gets arrested, goes to prison. He gets out, doesn't learn. When I got into the retic industry, sad to say, he was the first connection I made. He was a mentor of mine. And that sucks even to say that out loud.
That is crazy.
This sucks.
This is why I said, listen to this guy. If you haven't already, there's something rooted to what this is all about. And that's crazy that this guy Samson somehow, and you're not the only one probably, but let's go into it. So you first get into the game and your mentor is Samson, the one behind Slither. Let's hear about this.
So I got my first retic in 2018 that was from him. Even before 2018, I was plugged into the Facebook groups and started doing my research like a couple years before I even got my retic. And first person I ran into that bred retics that I saw post was Samson. I reached out to him, asked a bunch of questions. And what's insane is that all these employees coming out and speaking out and all these different people coming out and coming forth with truth, all of them are in the same demographic that I was in terms of age, right? They're ignorant in terms of retics. They're young and with
excited.
Excited. And he has a way to kind of convince you of like, yeah, if you listen to me, you do this and that, you're going to be successful. And, I was getting back into snakes because I've been wanting to breed snakes since I was like 12 years old.
Right.
And so I was like, damn, here's my opportunity. So I talked to him and he's teaching me. I get my first snake and I finally started plugging into more groups than just, once I decided to get some animals and start to build a collection, right? And I started getting animals from other people. And that's when my ear started like perking open and I started hearing about all this shit about Samson and dishonesty and owing people thousands, tens, $20,000. And then I started hearing more about the truth of his the neglect and stuff. And at some point I got tired of like trying to explain Samson's truth. And I was like, let me actually listen. And he ended up doing me dirty on a pretty big purchase of some animals that I got that kind of made me cut ties with him before I even knew that, before I even found out about this, I cut ties because of him lying to me, deceiving. I spent a lot of money on animals that, he said were proven breeders, but the female, she laid a clutch, but all the eggs ended up being shit, but he said all of them came out perfect. And I spent over $10,000 on that purchase. And so basically what ended up happening was he kept threatening me after I broke off a breedership loan with him. It was a Facebook Messenger loan that we agreed on. I bought the Coyote, my first snake, from him for half off. And I decided to pay him the rest of the half and said, I'm not sending you these animals, because at that point I had heard everything I needed to. I have heard how terrible of a business person he was. I broke it off. And after that, just kept threatening me over and over about going public. And I decided I was going to be patient. I was going to take a seat back and I was going to wait for him to do it. I had a reply ready. And then one day on my birthday, he pissed me off. He threatened me, and I basically just went public with it first. And that's kind of what people started reaching out to me with information about how bad the neglect and abuse was. But yeah, man, it sucks to say I started off with him being a mentor of mine. And it was something that I don't hide. I'm very honest about, but he got me, like, straight up. I was new, excited. He got me. And, but I don't know. I hopefully what we're doing now with getting the information out there is making up for that crap.
So there's that saying, there's a sucker born every minute or something like that, or there's like something.
Right.
Dude, that's literally the world of Samson. He could find that next sucker. I mean, now he can't. Now he's fucked. But let's just say before this, he was able to just manipulate, and just paint a picture to whatever it is that you're looking at. I'm sure he made pictures look good when he sent them.
Absolutely.
I'm sure he was good at that, right? But then again, like, how far did he live from you? Like, was he somebody that you could just go visit? Like, you know what I mean?
No. I mean, the dude was in North Carolina. I was in Texas.
Right. So, okay. Yeah. So there we go. So, in North Carolina too, not that there isn't a huge population of reptile people there, but then again, the fucking whole country is into reptiles. So how many people are able to just, say, pick up their shit and say, well, I'm going to go check out his collection or even get invited to, right? First and foremost, he did what he did because he could get away with it.
Right.
Now, what's crazy to me, and I want to ask you this before we kind of get into details of shit. These employees of his apparently have had information or have had these pictures for I don't know how long, and why would they hold on to that information for that long, you would think?
So I'm going to kind of turn on my therapist hat, my daytime job hat,
right.
and kind of try to give people some insight, because obviously in face value, when you look at the employees, why would you work under those conditions? Why wouldn't you say anything? So Samson's ability to kind of, in a way, groom young individuals, young women, has a way of, bringing you on. And then when you get there and you see what's happening, he's narcissistic and like a pathological liar. He was able to tell them, like, I had people quit, all this stuff happened. It's not normally like this. That's why I really need you. And then the people that are going there to work there are sold this promise that I'm the biggest, baddest retic breeder in the world, with a state-of-the-art facility, and they end up getting hooked in for the animals. But what I don't think a lot of people realize is kind of, whether it's physical abuse, emotional abuse, psychological abuse, there's a cycle of it. And it's really hard for people to break that cycle and to get out of an abusive relationship, even if it's an employee and employer relationship. And so the NDAs that were signed, the threats that he would constantly tell employees, if you don't work until this time, if you don't do this, then he was going to do A, B, and C. And this isn't stuff that I'm speaking figuratively. This is stuff that employees have come out. I encourage any of you, if you're not a part of the Slither Files on Facebook, there's a dozen employee stories. People that uprooted their life and sold a promise, and then get there and are they're exposed to what they see. And, Samson had a way of blaming them for all the issues. And at that point, what do? You leave and you tell people. And if any of you have dealt with Samson publicly in a negative way, he's volatile. He has a way to destroy people and their reputation, to belittle you. That's just the kind of person he is. And so for a lot of people to be scared of their actual physical safety, but emotional, mental safety, it's not as easy as just let me go ahead and just tell people what's up, because I'd want to let people know it's a lot more complex than, okay, I see a problem, I'm going to tell someone. There's a lot more that goes into it.
Can I keep that cap on that light? Your working hat.
Yeah, my work hat.
Right? And what do you mentally think is my situation, where I'm looking at 104 people tapping in and the likes are only at 40, and I feel like that's kind of disrespectful. Why do you think that's happening right now? Can we get the likes up, guys? I'm just kidding, by the way.
That's ignorance. That's ignorance. That's disrespect.
Let's get the likes up, dude. We're getting deep right now. 104 people. Thank you so much for being here. But can you get the likes up? I really appreciate it. No, but Lucas, okay, it's so true that you've said that. I feel like there's a demographic that he would target and go after, and that's the weak, vulnerable ones, obviously. And it's ones who love reptiles. And a lot of people have nothing. It's unfortunate, but they don't have anything else. And so they look at this opportunity as like sign of God. You know what I mean? Like, is this like, or like, holy shit, what is this? And then sure enough, it's like a fucking horror movie. It's like you show up and it's like, yeah, you're at Camp Death. You're not at Camp Fun. You're fucking, you're welcome. You're here. Pet Cemetery, fucking Samson edition.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And he would you know, again, would paint this picture of it's not like this. People have just been quitting and blah, blah, blah. And that's why I hired you, because you're amazing. You're great. You have energy. You have, like, he would tell people what they wanted to hear, and found a way to hook, line, sink, keep them there. And I mean, even the people that he would work on kind of grooming and getting them to come over, I wouldn't even necessarily say like weak or, but I mean, there's obviously a true narcissist has the ability to be able to find someone's flaw, like find what it is that person is missing or need. And he capitalized on it. And, you know, for me, I'll even be very transparent. You know, for me, it was, I had a very big desire at the time when I was first new, didn't have my first retake, and I was talking to him, as he was kind of teaching me, he knew I wanted to breed and be successful. And so every conversation would be about success and you got to do this and that. And so he capitalized on what you don't have and makes you feel like he can help you get there, which is, you know, obviously it's a crock of shit because, you know what I love about all this? And this is kind of like a little detour, but today someone posted in the Slither Files. I don't know if someone wants to try and pull this up, but there was a post there that's getting a lot of attention recently. Someone posted that before they knew about all of this, they bought a snake from Samson and it arrived today. And that animal arrived today in not good condition. And he sent screenshots, and the screenshots were showing like, hey, Samson was saying like, hey, I can't ship this week because we don't have money to send your snake out. There's been a lot of shit going on. Not a lot of people are buying animals. And the guy was like, I'll pay for shipping. No worries. And then in the meantime, Samson tries doubling down and selling him another animal and has the audacity in the same breath. That one right there.
This one right here?
Actually, it's that post.
This from Cody Jacob, or is the one underneath it? This one right here.
Oh, that one right there. If you look at the screenshots of what he posts there, in the same breath, he tries to sell another animal to this dude and says, no, you need to buy it now because it won't be available tomorrow. But he openly admitted no one's buying animals from him, that he can't even afford to ship the animal out. That's $85. So at least what we're doing with the Slither Files, we know we're hurting his pocket. The dude couldn't even ship the animal out. But again, this just paints a picture of he will convince you to whatever it is that he wants to convince you and lie to you in every which way to get you to spend money, stay at his place, be an employee.
Why isn't this fool wearing gloves? I would be like, oh my God.
Well, yeah. And I mean, I guess this person did, I mean, as they're doing the unboxing, surely they were aware then, but like everyone in the comments is like, dude, strict quarantine, minimum 6 months, test for every virus in the book.
Like I can smell the box for some reason. It's weird. I don't want to, but it's like, oh, dude. Like you got to understand, there's detailed, identical stories from different people, different scenarios, different timelines, talking about the way they live. And it's like, what the fuck, bro? You know, like, you know, the whole thing about having meat thawed, like unthawed meat just thrown behind the couch. Like, what kind of living human being does that? Like, you could just throw it away. Like, and I understand that the kitchen was so bad where they like, oh my God, bro. Like, I just understand people. That's just disgusting.
I mean, the worst story is hearing that this woman was promised a world, picked up and uprooted her life with a 3-year-old child, and was told that they would have room and board and housing paid for. And they go there and it's literally a gutted out bus.
Like, you want to know what gets, like, I know this is crazy because I'm not the only one, but you want to know what really gives me insecurity is that there's a fly flying around me right now. Like, that fucking hurt. Like that, like right now, like I'm trying to, like, I'm telling myself, MJ, you're not the only one with the podcast in a reptile room where there's a fly. So it's okay. But in my head, I'm like, God, like, this isn't perfect right now. And that makes me upset.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, it pisses like, so my
flies can't even live in this guy's fucking facility probably. You know what I mean?
Right.
They go to maggots and then they just die.
Seriously. I mean, my snake room is in the garage, but it's completely sealed off. I don't open the door, and every once in a while, I guess a fly from inside the house will get in, and dude, I will hunt that fly until it's dead. Let alone walking into a facility and just smelling death every day that you work there.
It's such a fucking double-edged sword, because one thing I love here in San Diego is during the morning, there's like a nice, like brisk, cold air, you know, and it's like, if you know you're gonna have a warm day, you can take advantage of just having that air just fill in your room, right? But if I do that, fucking flies get in, you know what I mean? And then so by the time I shut it, I'll have 1, 2, or 3 of these motherfuckers going around my room, you know what I mean?
Right.
But anyways, it's just what are you gonna do? I mean, it's really not that bad compared to what the fuck we're talking about right now, so I'll shut up.
Close.
But anyways, you know, okay, so overall, with certain podcasts I've had so far covering this, what are some pieces of information you feel like people don't know yet, or maybe there's some stuff that you kind of want to kind of detail on?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I covered a good amount of the story and everything on a live that I did with Nathan, my co-host on the Retic Lounge, but I still feel like we don't have a massive following, right? I mean, obviously the video is getting way more views than any of our other shit, but that's because of the topic. But with as big as your following is, I definitely want to just clarify some things that it's, a lot of people were pointing fingers in regards to why didn't you just call animal control, call law enforcement, and you fumbled the football, you fucked this up. He could be in jail, but the way that you handled it, you're the reason why. Nothing more is going to happen, and this is just a slap on the wrist for him. And I mean, I want to kind of just break down some bullet points, because I could probably speak the entire timeline for an entire hour. But number one, all of these pictures took place in North Carolina when he was there. He is currently in South Carolina. So for those of you that don't know, he moved to South Carolina. That move started in like September, October of 2022. He was fully moved over there January 1st of 2023. I received this group of massive photos that came from one person, but it was a total of like 3 or 4 people that have taken this pictures and that I was given this information. Number one, the amount of like talk and work that I had to do with the individual who sent me the pictures, they didn't want any trace. And again, this is a common thing about employees that have worked there, is fear. It's like they're literally genuinely scared of repercussions of what Santa might do. And so I was able to convince them by sending a flash drive through the mail, so that there was no email, there was no online file of who sent it, all that good stuff. I didn't receive that until, I didn't look at the date, I think April 22nd. I didn't receive that till April 22nd this year. And people were saying, why did you hold on to this for so long? It's like, what? Like, I really, like, these photos went public 7 weeks after I received them. And I wasn't sitting on them for 7 weeks before I even received it. When I got the tracking information with the flash drive, I contacted Darian. Mm-hmm. Darian got him off of Morph Market within a week of me contacting him. So he's been off of Morph Market since probably like the very beginning of May. And that was because I let him know ahead of time. And I reached out to him and said, yo, I'm about to get a bunch of pictures. When I get them, I'm sending them to you. You need to get this guy off of Morph Market, because my plan before going public was to send it out to all the shows, to Morph Market, and cut his ability to make money, and stop sending animals that are likely not in good health and might actually have diseases, viruses that can hurt people's collections. You, right? I'm going to use you for an example. Could you imagine if you didn't know what was going on and animals were kept in that condition, and you brought an animal into your like literally pristine facility, your room right there with all your animals? Like you take drastic measures to make sure that you know what's coming in. You don't, I mean, especially working with green trees and emeralds, like you can't bring.
Yeah,
so
no, you're good.
So,
but also, Lucas, I buy very strategically, and I've always said this, like,
for sure,
which is ball pythons. Even though I knew so many people had awesome ball pythons, I didn't give a fuck. I bought from 2 people from the first 2 years, and I felt like, because these people had my best interest. So, you know, a lot of people don't look at building relationships before purchases, and I think that's a problem. I feel like you should definitely invest in building a relationship with someone you're going to buy from. That way there's no question about where the fuck the snake's coming from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Want me to be honest? The only time I ever fucking had to quarantine something, and I know I hate saying this, but because I'm kind of like, not doing what I preach, but imports was the biggest thing about quarantine because import is an import, right? Well, let's just say a snake from Miguel Garcia, okay? You think I'm going to put that fucking goddamn $7,000 snake in a shack or something? Wait, no, that thing's going straight into the rack.
I hear you.
Fine, you know what I mean?
I hear you.
But that's just because I invest in relationships before I purchase. But that's not the average buyer. We all know that. So you're right.
For sure. I bought a retake, not including the first retake that I bought from Samson. Not including Samson, I've only bought a retake from 3 people, and I got 20 something retakes. So,
because you felt comfy, you felt great. I mean,
I know who I'm buying from, and I know what I know what I'm gonna get. I know the condition the animals are in.
A trip out about this, Lucas. Let's just say let's just say that this fucking big hunk of piece of shit was like had money. Like, let's just say money was never an issue. Like, he was just had it like that. And let's say he was able to never piss you off, you could still be getting shit from him right now.
Bro,
I mean, the only reason why this happened is because he did a red flag to you, and that red flag got worse. And so it got to the point where you were branching out, asking people, and that's how it all crumbled for him. But he probably has done this where he wasn't able to do that to somebody and kept him in. But anyways, I just feel like, imagine if that would have happened.
No, I mean, I got it right before I logged in to do my check with you. I actually got off the phone with someone who I tried telling for the last 2 years, giving them warnings about Samson, and it took until all this stuff came public. And I talked to them on the phone, and they, obviously a bunch of guilt and frustration with not listening or not seeing warning signs. But yeah, I mean, he did that. He did that until this stuff came out for a lot of people that knew him longer than me, but was able to continue to do what he does. But speaking of that, I really try to live by a mantra. And I also, I tell this to a lot of my clients as well, to try to change perspective in the way that we think. But the mantra kind of, it goes something, it's not going to be perfect, but it's things happen for me. They don't happen to me. Right. So removing the personal aspect, and even if something bad happens, it's happening for me and for a reason. Right. And so even when it goes back to the Samson shit and why we ended up splitting ties, it was for me because this shit is now happening and I'm no longer tied with him, and I haven't been tied with him. So I really, things really do happen for us and not to us. It's never going to be, the universe doesn't do shit on purpose to try to fuck us over. But, yeah, that's important to me, and I think applies in this situation. I froze, or you froze. Everyone see me? Uh-oh. Okay. MJ froze. But let me go ahead and let me just continue talking about the like series of events and bullet points while everyone hears me, right? Someone just say yes so that I know I'm not talking to no one. Okay, cool. So anyways, I started, damn, I got the full screen on MJ's podcast. I'm taking this shit over. MJ, you're done. You're fired. So basically what ended up happening was I got the information. I started reaching out to different people, and I consulted with someone pretty big, someone that I have a lot of respect for. And that was US ARC and Phil Goss.
Oh, we're good. What the fuck was that all about?
I fired you, dude. Get the hell out of here. It's my show.
Dude, that was weird, man. Somebody's trying to hack the system, bro.
It's That's Adler crazy. In the background.
It is Adler. Adler, stay out, bro. That was weird. I'm hardwired into the internet, so this would never happen. I don't know why that happened. Continue.
So I was getting to the part where I then sought after further consult from someone that I have mad respect for, and that's US ARC and Phil Goss. And like I said on my podcast that I did, like, first and foremost, I just want to do a disclaimer. I support the fuck out of US ARC. I support the mission that Phil's doing. I understand what their role is. And there's this idea that even Phil said it to me that he's the only full-time employee, and their mission is to help fight against legislation, right? If he were to take every single accusation and every single proof of animal neglect and abuse in the reptile industry, they'd need a whole other like 100 workers to stay on top of that. But when I showed Phil this stuff, it was bad enough that he provided some support and guidance. He said, keep doing what you're doing with the shows. I'm going to try to work behind the scenes and take care of legal stuff. He kept me updated throughout the process, but he all of a sudden went silent because he was in Florida for 2 weeks. I didn't make the connection then that he was actually in Florida doing the USARC Florida bullshit with the FWC and what happened. But when he came back, he said he got some contact information and was going to get back to me when he reached out to people. And I texted him back later that week, never got back to me. Texted him back the other week, never got back to me. And at that point, if I'm going to be fully transparent and honest, I got impatient and I sent some pictures over to Rodney to kind of, I was like, at this point, if he's not responding, I'm going to send some pictures to you and I need you to make kind of one of your typical hype videos because let me talk about why I even brought in Rodney in the first place. I don't care what your opinions are on the guy. The guy,
hey, I can hear you. Keep talking.
Yeah, the guy gets attention. The guy has a way, if you hate him, and he posts, you're paying attention. If you like him and he posts, you're paying attention. So I use Rodney's platform because number one, Rodney is probably one of the only people that actually has the balls to actually do this. Because as we're seeing right now in the retic industry, who's speaking up? Who? Like out of all the people that are big in the industry, who is speaking up? I've heard more ball python people talking about this than retic people. And that scares me. It's like how much crap does Samson have on people in the retic industry that big time people aren't stepping to the plate and talking about this. They're knocking it off as drama. If you guys think that what's going on with the Slither Files is drama, like that, you're mistaken. And I have no hope for society. But and I think after I did that and some of the pictures were released, I think Phil was just like, I'm going to cut ties for whatever reason. So we decided to go fully public with the information because, again, one thing that you have to understand about the timeline, he was already in South Carolina with the Patrick, you're right, Weston is, and I'll get into Weston's role and how I worked with him. So the timeline was he was out of South Carolina, or he was out of North Carolina into South Carolina 4 months, almost 5 months when I received the photos. Again, Samson is not stupid. He is strategic. He is calculative. He is, and he would not move decaying, dying, virus, disease-filled animals to another state and facility. Number one, didn't have the money, barely for gas. He was selling animals at one point for 50, 75% off because he needed money to move. Number two, this was a great opportunity for him to have a fresh start, right? Every animal that was dying, every animal that was sick, man, I guarantee you, if you dig up that old property, you would see so many dead animals. So if we were going to do something, when I got the pictures, they would go over, they would inspect his place, and they wouldn't see what we see in the pictures. And not to mention, employees have come out and said that when animal control was actually there in North Carolina with the conditions that the pictures demonstrate, he was able to convince them that this was normal, which is absolutely insane that you can do that. And so there was no legal issue that could have been taken, right? I mean, there are still a couple things that I have working in the background, and I'm not going to say it publicly because I don't need Samson to be prepared for it, that we can try to get him, but it's not in regards to animal abuse and neglect. And so everyone is up in arms and pissed off and think that we fumbled the ball. Listen, like if I need to be your target, I'm happy to be your target. Again, I don't care about that. You're angry and so am I because he deserves nothing less but jail time. And it's just not going to happen, unfortunately, because of the circumstances of when I received the photos and the timing of his move. And so I totally get it. Like, I'm pissed off. I wish there could be more done, but here's what I will say on a positive note. That post today of Samson saying he doesn't have money, he's not making sales, he's not doing good because the shit that's going on, what we are doing is working. I have never seen, other than the retic community that decided for some reason to have a divide about everything that's going on now, I've never seen the entire reptile industry come together other than what happened with FWC about a topic. There's people that aren't even tied into retics that are posting on Instagram and doing all this other crap.
Yeah.
It's working what we're doing to try to remove all aspects of him being able to make money. And I think, and I shared this, I think what our next big move needs to be is we need to start furthering the connection of Cass and Samson, because Cass has 60K followers.
Yeah, you want to talk about cringe, bro? Holy shit!
Right, and that's insane. And now we need to work on quote unquote canceling her. We need to get the information out. We need to make that connection, and that's where we really need to work. Because
pause real quick though. I don't know if anyone's kind of been up to date to this and unfollowed, but there's some fucking creepy people that I would never thought would follow her, following her, and you're disgusting. You know who you are out there. I looked at your names. You need to unfollow that girl right now. What's wrong with you? You guys know that she has fucking unthawed meat behind her couch. Why are you watching that shit? Ugh, man. You got some sick motherfuckers out there, bro.
No, I agree. And I think that people like are really, I mean, she's co-owner. And you know what? You want to know what's really sad about this? Is she was someone who didn't, you know, she didn't have a good, from my understanding, didn't have a good relationship with her parents, couldn't wait to get out of the house, and was 17 when she moved over to work for Samson and married. And who knows how the fuck old Samson is, but Samson did his grooming shit and now they're married. But this has been going on for so long that you can't ignore her role in this, because she is now completely complicit in the conditions of these animals, because she has been co-owner now for over 2 years. And
yeah.
And you know, I can empathize with their situation in the sense of like, I truly do think that she is a victim of grooming. But at this point, she is complicit in everything that is going on, and that needs to be brought to awareness. As I continue to ramble, you mind if I make one more point? Because someone mentioned Weston.
Lucas, this is your show, bro. Do that. I mean, here, I'll make this better for you. No, go, please.
No, so Weston, man, I can't give enough props to Weston for actually being someone who is well known. Had a great episode that he did with you.
A lot.
And what I like about Weston is he's just one of those people, kind of like Rodney, in the sense of like, I don't give a shit what people think about me in regards of what I'm doing, because it's more than about the popularity aspect of it. But I found out, like, when all this stuff came to surface, before it went fully public, like, I had made Weston aware of what I had, and Weston was like, bro, you want to know what I've been working on for like the last 2.5 years? He talked about doing this petition to get him out of a show. And when he did that, that obviously ruffled Samson's feathers, and Samson probably had a few words to say to Weston, and Weston decided, genius move, like so simple, but genius. He bought a crap ton of domains, SamsonPruitt.com, SlitherIncorporated.com, like anything that when you Google, it's tied like that if people were to Google Samson, right, he basically bought out like over 15 domains. And he had told me, he's like, what I was going to do was just put his history of dogfighting, his criminal record, everything on there for people to see. And me and him agreed. I was like, have the pictures. They're yours. Like, add them to the website. And he added them to the viewer's and now that is public. SamsonPruitt.com. For those of you that have not gone to the website, go to it. Viewer discretion advised. Like, obviously, if you haven't seen the pictures already, it's not pretty, but it has his dogfighting stuff. It has his criminal charges. It has all the pictures, all the Slither files are all on there. And like, yeah, can I ask you something?
Sure.
Why is the retic community so silent?
I don't know, man. I'm not a part of it. I mean, it sucks to say that
you're
I'm not
a part of it.
I guess you're right.
You just said you were connected to this.
Yeah, you're right. I guess I don't want to be, but yeah, I guess you're right. Only because, you know, I just know that the people I do respect in the retic community are the ones that are in the community the way, like how I'm in the ball python community. Like ball python, like I know a lot more versus reticulated pythons as far as OGs and shit like that. I don't know any of these guys, bro. I didn't know who Gavin was. I didn't know who Paul Lucas was. I didn't know who all these fools were. I know Shane, and I fuck with Shane. Honestly, Shane's my favorite, and I've already said that. But like, you know, I tend to just kind of, because dude, I had a bad taste in my mouth about the mainland community. I looked at and no disrespect to you guys, mainland community, but I was like, that's not me. I'm good, because with Jay and just all the shit that I experienced, I wanted to disconnect myself from that. And obviously Andrew Acevedo, like, he's the one that kind of like really put me on with Super Dwarf stuff. And when I met Rodney before, and this is why I also wanted Rodney on the show, like, dude, I had already had tabs on Rodney way before any of this drama shit, and he fucking put me on hella game with the locality specific shit with the RHACS. And like I said, for over 3 years I've been asking for this guy to come on my show, and that's super valid. We
spent like months on the phone talking about, like, should I go on MJ's? I'm like, dude, go on MJ's, dude, just do it already.
And I remember I was going to be so mad at you if you brought him on before me. I was like, dude, don't. And then eventually I remember I just kind of let it go, because I remember he initially first came on your show and it wasn't drama, right? It was something just episode, right?
Yeah, he did our Maluku locality spotlight to talk about Ternates, Halmaheras, and other Maluku stuff. But I mean, it was a good episode because people actually got to see the informative side of him, right?
Right. And then also on my episode, that's why I'm like, dude, this guy knows his shit. Like, but then also it's like, you know, when you have someone who doesn't give two shits about being like the poster child, or like, I'm the hero, I'm the best example setter. Like, you know, even Rodney admits he has flaws here and there, but he don't give a fuck what you think about him. And if you do something wrong by him that he's been dedicated for years after year, I mean, decades behind certain these projects, and he sees someone taking advantage of it. I mean, but I will say, between you and I, okay, like, and let me ask you how you feel about this, okay? Counter on this one, okay? Him really having a hard on for Garrett, valid or not valid, okay? Because I feel like there are some things in there that are wrapped around Rodney being mad about how big Garrett wants to take things, and maybe he was never in that position to do it. Not that he wants to, but like, I only kind of see like him kind of, other than the other scenario of him sending something, right? Like, I get that, like that right there, I get. But there's also a shit ton of other stuff that Ronnie just holds inside that just wants to like burn Garrett, burn. And I'm just like, come on, man. Like, you know what I mean? Is that valid, you feel like?
So I kind of, to give people an understanding and context of timeline and just historically with Rodney's behavior. I'll say this, like, in terms of like big people going for fame and big people that get popular, right? You know, there is a track record for him going after people like Jay and like Nerd and now Garrett, and he's been after Samson for a good while. And so, you know, can we say it's the frustration of how big these people get? You know, it's definitely possible, right? And definitely to the public's eye, like, it definitely looks that way, right? Like, he's a salty, bitter asshole that is just upset when other people, you know, have success, right? And that's what a lot of people see. But
bro, like I said, like, he had his moments where I'm like, dude, I can't even follow this motherfucker no more. Like, because it kind of got annoying. But then there was bombshell posts, and I'm like, oh, what? Like, he would post something where you're like, okay, is this a typical Ronnie fucking having a bad day, or what's he talking about now? And then you look into it, and it's like fucking like cold case files. It's like, holy shit. It's nuts.
Let me break down the timeline with Garrett, because a lot of people talk about how he's obsessed with Garrett. There's a dude with another podcast that's literally trying to make a video right now of Rodney's obsession with Garrett, and for some historical context, right?
And what's the name of that Reptile podcast? It doesn't matter what the name of that Reptile podcast is. We don't give a fuck. Anyway, sorry, I just had to say that.
So this is historical stuff from my perspective and from my observation. There's definitely going to be information and pieces that I'm not aware about or don't know about. But the very first instance that I noticed that Rodney had beef with Garrett was probably like 2.5, 3 years ago. Probably like 2 years ago, where Rodney saw Reach Out Reptiles making claims on their website about, 75% super dwarf males maxing out to 5 to 7 feet. And Rodney working with localities for a long time, and even, me being someone who loves and like my niche is localities, you got to understand that a full 100% pure super dwarf, a Kalatoa, a Madu, a Karampa, at a full-grown adult is going to be 6 to 8 feet. And so when Garrett is putting on his website, when people are looking at the animals that they want to buy, you're putting that a 75% is going to max out to 5-7 feet. Rodney decided to call it out, right? Not because Rodney's, has something out for Garrett, but because Rodney has done that with just about every breeder that has a platform that is caught in something that is not fully honest. Now, why Rodney does that, you got to ask him. That's just Rodney's persona online is different than who he really is. And so that happened, right? And that was kind of, from my observation, the start of the feud. And then Garrett gets the big facility, and Rodney makes an episode on his YouTube channel about how to make $1 million breeding retics. And it was kind of a jab in the sense of, like, from a business perspective, if you're just doing breeding, he broke it down in a factual way. He's like, you need to make this much money a year to be sustainable. You need to sell this many animals. And the point that he was making is that you got to do retic mill type breeding to sustain that big of an overhead. So then where things got complicated was Rodney, Garrett made a comment about, not that Rodney's ternates and Halmaheras were not legitimate, that they came in like a mixed bag and there was no way to accurately tell what they were. Now, for someone like Rodney, who has dedicated all of his snake career to locality stuff, probably the most well-informed locality enthusiast in the country, who only gives a shit about the true, behind the scenes stuff of his locality. When someone as big as Garrett and his influence tells people that they're illegitimate, you can take a basement breeder like Rodney and completely ruin him. And the fact of the matter is I called Cameron because I'm invested heavily in Halmahera and ternates, right? And so when I heard that, I was like, whoa. Like, let me talk to the importer, because if this is true, right? Like, I didn't think that Garrett was lying at the time. I was like, damn, this is new.
You spoke to Cameron?
So I know Rodney on your podcast said that he did, and I talked to him about that. So Rodney did also speak to Cameron, but Cameron told me verbatim, like,
on the phone, or where? How'd you talk to him?
No, on the phone. I called him.
That's hard. How long was that?
That was, that was probably like the week after that Garrett made that statement.
After my podcast, after the show?
No. This was well before all of that. This was, no. I was looking for this information. I mean, months and months and months ago, before all this Slither File stuff, before the whole ternate being sent over months ago, because I want you guys to understand that when I spoke to Cameron, it wasn't because I wanted to find out if Garrett was a liar, right? Like, at that time, me and Garrett had a very close relationship. And when Garrett speaks about locality information, I listen, because Garrett knows his shit, right? And so I got concerned, and I actually for a second was like, bro, is Rodney bullshitting all of us? So I addressed it with Rodney, and a lot of people, a lot of people are like, oh, well, you told on Garrett for saying that on his Patreon. I was like, no, I didn't. Like, I found out information that I'm thousands of dollars invested. I went directly to the breeder to get clarification, and then I went to the importer. Just that for reference, for all of you into Superdorf retics, you need to do that. If you don't do your due diligence in that, then you can't verify that what you have is what you have. So I talked to Cameron, and Cameron told me, he's like, Garrett, who? And I said, Reach Out Reptiles? Like, he's like, no, like, it didn't ring a bell, the conversation that he had. And he told me, he's like, the last time I talked to someone other than Rodney about ternates and Halmaheras was probably close to a decade ago.
How old is Cameron, though? Is he old?
I couldn't tell you. He didn't sound old, right? But
I've talked to some elderly reptile keepers at points, and their memories
right
foggy. But you don't ever forget talking to someone like Garrett Hartle. I'm sorry.
But and not only that, but
a memorable moment.
But not only that, after he said he didn't remember, I was like, okay, so why don't we do this? Just tell me everything you know about the imports of ternates and Halmaheras. And he broke down everything for me, and it all validated and checked out. And so that's when Rodney, like, bro, a switch flipped in his brain, and he was just like, any opportunity to go at Garrett. Like, Rodney took that to a whole different level of personal attack. Like if you're going to try to delegitimize because here's the thing, like, you know how you hear people say like, where's the paperwork for the locality data and retics, right?
And this is something that Ron needs. This is his bread and butter. Like this is like his huge, like his dynasty basically.
Right. So when people say like, oh, follow the paper trail, like, where's the paperwork to prove that they're from, right? Find me. I challenge any of you to find anybody who can provide you receipts of their purchase that states from the importer where these animals came from. The only person that you'll be able to find is Rodney, because I've tried. And so that's when Rodney kind of flipped the switch and took it to a whole new level. Then this whole TK Travis Cubas thing came out, and I did
it. By the way, I didn't get to fucking remember that. Oh man, you know how Rodney was just doing shit and tagging random like his employees and stuff. He really fucking he really pushed the line with the whole showing the physical abuse shit.
He did.
Right. I didn't get a chance to tell him, but I was gonna say, bro, you're
no.
That right there made me mad. I'm not gonna lie.
At that point, I was even telling him like, bro, chill, like too far, right? And so,
the tiger got out the cage, I'm sure.
Right, like at that point, he was out for blood. Because before it was just Rodney doing what Rodney did in the retic community. He's calling people out for misinformation. But once Garrett decided to tell people about the illegitimacy of his animals when they weren't, is when he took it to the next level. That TK video came out, and I was the one who kind of like publicly was like, why are we glorifying someone who is who has abused, beaten, and has been arrested for attempt of murder by strangulation of his wife at the time,
but also no longer in this hobby either. Like,
he's not, and I can get the point of like he created the TK line Cowtoe before he even did this, and I get that, right? But I just didn't like that the video kind of portrayed Travis Cubas as this amazing individual, right? It didn't, and so I made a post on my Live Exotics page, and I even posted like a little poll, like, should we change the TK Cowtoe to another? Should we be addressing it by TK? Blah blah blah. And I wasn't trying to suggest, and I wasn't trying to start a movement to change the TK Cowtoe. I wasn't, because I know that the Rita community doesn't like change. I knew it wasn't going to happen. I just wanted feedback after the information.
Are they going to change Pete Call's name? Are they going to change the
right
Call after his fucking racism shit?
Right, exactly. So I didn't think it was going to change. I wasn't trying to change it. I just wanted to get people's opinions on, now that people are more informed about the domestic abuse, if we should be talking about him like that. Well, Rodney saw me doing that, and Rodney took advantage, posted those memes, went after Garrett pretty hard for that. And then after that is when Garrett got a hold of the turnate, sent it over to Samson. And then that was just a whole other tipping point, because Rodney has been talking about Samson being a piece of shit for a while. He took that personal. So there's a timeline of events that led up to what triggered Rodney to like go kind of overboard. But and at the end of the day, if you take back, objectively look at it, both of them were wrong for the things that they did, instead of just talking to each other and settling shit. And they both kind of played a back and forth, Rodney being a lot more animated and a lot more of a dickhead and having this online persona. He caught more attention, but let me tell you, I mean, Rodney's method for everything that was going on worked, because it actually, people, despite hating it, calling it drama, they actually were kind of brought and caught up to date about the stuff going on with Samson. And yeah, so I mean, that's Rodney in a nutshell. I hate that we just talked about him for this long, but
it's all good. But at the end of the day, like he's Rodney. Like, that's whatever he had to do to get what he wanted, he did. And I don't know. Like I said on the podcast I had with him, I was like, bro, I know you don't want to end your legacy like this. Like, I would hope after a while we could either do a couple things. We could either just completely let this go. Like, once we get Samson the fuck out, we're all on self-police mode, right? Which is good. A lot of us aren't gonna let any of this shit slide, which is good. But once we get this piece of shit out, can we get back to business? Can we just kind of like show off our animals, and can we just like leave Garrett alone and other people? But I don't know if that bridge he's ready to cross yet. But goddamn, that's what we need. I gotta tell you, man. If we can somehow just get a sit down, because think about it. You want to talk about dynamics that I think are just fucking crazy, is how like Rob, right? Rob, which is the fucking man of Reach Out Reptiles, is the man. And he's super, I don't know how close they are now, but him and Rob have so much history together.
Yeah, they were good friends back in the day.
That's nuts. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we just got to fucking, come on. When it comes to this, I want us to get over it and get together and just kind of like, yeah, maybe Rodney could have acted different. And maybe Ronnie or Garrett could have definitely acted different. Both parties aren't innocent here, but why can't we just fucking find a mutual respect for the animals, right? Because if this is really about the animals, we could put a lot of petty shit aside, I feel like.
At least temporarily, right?
I mean, just come as men, fucking speak to each other and just come up with a solution. But I think this going on is just stupid.
And I was in such an uncomfortable situation because up until like recent events with me and Garrett, for the time that I've been talking to Garrett for 4 years. Garrett was like my next mentor after Samson, and forever thankful for what Garrett has done for the industry and for what he helped me grow and learn. And I have all the respect in the world for Garrett. But I started talking to Rodney, and and it got to a point where I was cool with both of them, and I was in the middle. Garrett would call me. We'd have hour-long conversations about Rodney and his behavior. And I've told Rodney straight up, like, for those of you that think that I hug Rodney's nuts, and dude, I talk to him at least once a day about how much of a fuckboy he's being. Like,
he probably just laughs at you.
He does. No, he does. He totally does. But sometimes I think I do get through to him because he I will say that I don't know, after talking to him about the stupid shit that he's doing, he tends to ease up. Now that could be just for him, or that could be me trying to help him not be the way that he is sometimes online. But I would talk to Rodney. Rodney would talk to me about Garrett. Garrett would talk to me about Rodney, and it was uncomfortable. I was in the middle of two people that I really liked and respected, and it kind of sucked. And so I say that out of context for those of you to kind of understand that I'm not saying everything that I'm saying right now from like a subjective stand. Like, this is literally at one point close with both of them, very close with both of them, being in the middle and just kind of literally observing both of their actions and behaviors and what I observed.
Yeah, and I don't know. I said this to Rodney that, like, once you knew that he was going to go that big and he did it anyways, why not root for him anyways, man? Like, why not, why not at least be there to help guide him or at least, like, because here's the way, and mind you, man, Garrett's mindset is big. He thinks big, Rodney's not that mindset, and that's okay. We have those multiple different types of keepers where not everybody wants to go as big. You shout to my boy Levance. I don't know if you heard of Straight Fire Reptiles, but this guy's a fucking G. And he told me on his podcast that, people are all on an elevator, right? And at some point, some people hit that button. They want to get off that floor because either they're scared of heights or they just don't want to keep going. And that's okay. Get off that elevator if you want. But me, I ain't getting off this fucking elevator. I'm going to keep going as high as I possibly can. And those people sometimes who get off, who see that person just keep going and going and going, they feel some type of way. And I'm not saying Rodney's salty, but at the end of the day, let fucking Garrett take his dreams where he wants to take it, however big he wants to do it, and just be there for him, because this is about the retics. This is about keeping this shit as healthy and pure as possible.
So I will say that it might not seem like it, but even before he went on your podcast for multiple months now, Rodney is rooting for Garrett because Garrett was the one who livened up the market for Superdorf and Dorf retics.
Rodney could be rooting for Garrett all he wants, but that ain't what it seems like. And
that's it doesn't.
Not what the perception is, bro, at all. So.
It's not, but that is fueled by what Garrett did personally to come at Rodney.
Right.
And that's when he started, because at the end of the day, what Rodney was doing at the very beginning was just calling out misinformation that someone big with a lot of influence was giving. And Rodney doesn't do that with just Garrett. Rodney did it with Nerd. Rodney did it with Jay. Rodney did it with Samson. Rodney does it with Gavin. Rodney does it with everybody who gives misinformation. But where Rodney started being like way overboard is, when Garrett kind of said that information, and that's where Rodney just took it to another level. But I could not agree more in the sense of, like, we need to let bygones be bygones, put shit aside, because we have actually a opportunity to actually get together. But it's hard for me to feel that that's possible when, again, so many people in the retic industry that are big are silent.
Yeah, but then again, like who? Man, we got to look at the biggest, and it's sad, you know. And not that it's sad that we have to pick on the biggest, but sorry, man, that's your position. If you're at the very top, we got to go to you, and we have to start with you.
Okay.
And what's crazy is Garrett is at the top. I feel like at all this, Garrett's at the top, and Rodney's at the top. What's funny, not really like as far as marketing, so, but I'm talking about like powerful wise. We could get these guys on the same fucking page somehow, and the forces fucking combined, or something remotely where we could just stop the attacks and bring, like, start planting little seeds of flowers that could start growing from the Tick Nation somehow, which God bless. I don't know, but there's got to be a unity fucking, you know, game plan at some point. There has to.
I mean, yeah, it's going to take a scrub like me to try to pull that together, to try to do that.
Scrub? What locality?
Baruch.
God, be a barneck, buddy. Come on, be a barneck. God damn it. Take
But
fuckers out.
let me ask you, like, so if we're going to name people at the top, like at the top with positive influence and knowledgeable, like, right? So who's there? Name them in the retic industry. Give me 5 people.
I can't do that. I mean, I could give you Shane. Obviously, Shane is somebody, right?
Okay, Shane.
Shane's coming on the show next week, just so you know.
Good. I'm glad.
So Shane, you know, listen, I'm gonna name drop this dude, but he's super behind the scenes, and he's very rooted in the retic world. But he got out right before all this shit happened, and I feel like he's technically somebody top of who I should bring on here. His name's Kenny from Upside Down Geckos, or Kenny Star. He's known in the retic world as Kenny Star or K Star. Anyways, highly respectable. And I need to get him on the show because he knows a lot. Andrew, but Andrew's low key, and I don't know what he's in the Amazon, so he's never coming back.
So we mentioned Garrett, we mentioned Shane.
Well, hold on, Wes.
Okay, Weston's a good one.
Wes, I mean, because he's a like, you gotta look at the people who are putting the energy behind showing their faces on social media, right? When I go see Wes's post, it makes me feel comfortable looking at his post. Like I'm like, wow, that's wholesome. Look at him. He's fucking taking out this goddamn huge snake and letting it just go in the grass and then when it, you know when that snake sits still for a while and just soaks in that daily sun, it's having a good time. So anyways, I don't know, help me out. Who would you name?
So I mean, the point that I'm trying to make is, like, if we take all the top people that are positive influences that have this and everything, my next follow-up question after we name some is, who has spoken publicly against this?
Publicly against?
Yeah.
Because not anyone relevant, but there are people actually out there saying that this isn't fair. Like, this isn't, like, this is being biased, and like, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, but that we can blame Rodney for that, because Rodney was the one who put out the video with me, and Rodney was the one who shared the pictures, and then Rodney started going on a witch hunt and started trying to call people out and shit. And so I get that, but that's been dead for over a week. Rodney hasn't made a noise in regards to all of this in over a week. That died down. Rodney kind of, you know, got the pot boiling, and Rodney has actually been kind of on the couch, not being.
He has a fucked up toe.
Right, literally on the couch. But like the big people, right, that you would expect. So why do I think it's important for big people to speak out? People listen to the influential people in an industry.
Yeah.
And when those people make statements against this kind of stuff, it riles all of us up, right? Like, so when US ARC starts posting about FWC and these big influencers start posting about FWC, the entire reptile community got together on a single thing bigger than we've ever seen before, right? And I'm not downplaying what happened at FWC, but like what happens and what's happening at Slither, I'm sorry, but it's worse, because these are
bro, way worse.
Way
are you
worse.
Kidding me? Because these dipshits at FWC were dipshits, government employed dipshits. Do they have fucking 2,000 retics at home? No, they had no clue. Which is fucked up. Was that they were smiling and that fucking piece of shit for that? But no, we're talking somebody who's doing this, who's a part of what we do. Like, this is in our own home. You know what I mean?
And it reflects on us. But I guess, like, with all of the influencers that spoke out about FWC, and now we have something that's way worse, and now people are silent. It's like, we can have that same kind of momentum and movement for the same thing, but where are the people?
Now, like, I will say though, for US ARC, that FWC is way more crucial, like that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because that's what they fight against. Like they're like
Yeah.
this is like whoa, like this is honestly like, you know,
I wasn't saying
crooked cop type shit. You know what I mean?
I mentioned USARC just because, like, you know, obviously that is right up their alley. That's legislation, because now we're talking about whitelists and all that stuff. So that's up their alley and why they spoke about it. But I made that point in regards to like a big person spoke up about that. But I'm not saying that, like, you know, I would like USARC to make a statement about this, because on their website they talk about proper animal keeping and husbandry ethics and all that kind of stuff, right? But I'm not even going after USARC right now. I'm just talking about us who are breeders and keepers. And I think more people need to be vocal about it if this is going to not just be a phase out process, because guys, I don't think what you guys understand is Samson Pruitt did this in the 90s in not a good way. He got arrested and went to prison, and he then came back into the reptile breeding scene with updated pictures of crappy husbandry. And this has just been ongoing, like constantly ongoing. And something comes up, it gets brought to light, it dies down within a month, and then he's back to doing what he does. And I don't know. I feel like the community is doing a good job so far. I just would like to see bigger people addressing it to continue the momentum, because again, legal action right now is not an option. You know, he's not going to change. He's proven that he's not going to change. So maybe a year from now, if someone decides to randomly call animal control, show them these pictures, and they go out there, we might get him, right? But like right now, it's not an option. So we are the only option, and no one, I don't want to say no one, but at least the retic industry is quiet. And that to me is frustrating, because that's the one that I'm most plugged into.
And you know what? They're going to stay quiet because we keep saying how they're going to stay quiet. So now, you know, it takes a lot of balls and it takes a fucking spine to, at this point, come out and say something. But at this point, it's a lot easier to just keep your mouth shut and get back to business, because no matter how much I bring you on week after week, or anybody on, at some point, this will have it will trickle down, right? And I will say the different position now that this fucker's in is he's out of Morph Market. He's out of every show that is relevant, I feel like, right?
Besides Repticon.
Well, yeah, that's Reps. God damn. You know,
I mean, they're big. I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of people have these negative thoughts about Repticon, and a lot of people think poorly on them because of their decisions.
Show, though.
But it's still a big show. And I mean, I don't know. Did you see their response?
From who?
Bro, pull up the Slither Files again. There's a post that someone emailed Repticon, and I'm so glad that I'm so glad that I'm on your platform able to share this, because when I saw this repost from the reply from Repticon, scroll down and just try to find the feed about getting it's like, oh, I got a reply. And so they sent an email. That's it right there.
Right here? Okay.
Yep.
Hey,
so,
okay. All right. Hello. Currently, Samson Pruitt has no future. So this is coming from Repticon.
This is coming from Repticon to the guy that emailed them trying to tell them about Samson Pruitt.
All right. So, hello. Currently, Samson Pruitt has no future shows booked with Repticon. However, based on complaints we received, he does move to properly arrange. If he does move to properly arrange for any bookings in the future, our management intention is to inquire directly with him at the time regarding the accusations that are going around about him.
Can I stop you right there?
Yeah.
If anybody knows Samson Pruitt, when they directly get in contact with Samson and talks about it, Samson's going to spin it in a way that it's not going to be a big deal.
Okay.
All right. Keep on.
So, goddamn. So it is not Repticon's policy to ban any vendors on accusations alone. But if there's anything of legal nature publicly available, such as a police report or reported move against them by the FWC, we would be very interested in the information to forward to our management to review. Regarding our direct influence with any vendors, which is only at Repticon events, it is our policy to inspect the animals at our shows and ask for sick animals to be removed from tables, and if appropriate, to require health certificates for animals if our staff personally witnesses unhealthy animals. Where the fuck was that? Whoa. Okay, unhealthy animals at the show on a regular basis. We also encourage attendees at our events to ask to speak with the show manager on site if they witness any animals they believe unhealthy, especially since it is difficult for our staff to monitor the many animals throughout a show. And that is more challenging if a vendor might be deceptive to our staff when they display them. If reported during the show, the manager can review the situation and make determination immediately and in person. When we receive reports after an event has passed, then the best course of action is to notify an on-site manager to especially review the tables of the vendor with the complaint at the next show they might vend.
So hear me out real quick. Let me break that down. So what Repticon is saying is that as long as he passes inspections, he's going to be allowed to go at the show because there's not legal action being taken. We've already covered on this podcast that legal action cannot be taken because he moved to a different state and got rid of all the neglected, dying, diseased, virus-filled animals. Now, also, let me ask you this. He was able to vend shows and pass inspections with other shows, and you got to be stupid to take one of those tubs of a decaying snake over to a fucking show, right? He's not going to take snakes that are half dead to a show.
You never know. The guy's a fucking idiot, but he's not. He's also very strategic. Like he paints a picture, right?
He does, and that's what he does. And so the frustrating thing about this is that the very first thing is like that they use the word accusations when if they would have actually looked at all the pictures, these aren't accusations. This is proof. His name, his number, his tag, his animals, shit. If you even send them the screenshot of him admitting to all this. But Repticon is more concerned that unless legal action is taken, which is basically like CYA, cover your ass, that's what they're doing. Like as long as he is not in legal trouble, we're going to continue to let him vend if his animals pass an inspection. And he was sent everything. Repticon was sent everything from the beginning from me. I didn't get a reply. And now from this person who sent the link of the website and, explained everything. And Repticon's response is, we'll talk to him about it. That's going to go in Samson's favor. And if his animals look okay, he'll be allowed to vend.
Yeah. But, I don't know, man. At the end of the day, here's the thing. I feel like for the most part, when people buy anything, they like to post it on Facebook, right? Or they like to post it on Instagram. And that's how it started with me, right? I got into the game solely because I missed ball pythons. And then I didn't know that there was a whole world out there of people who have the same species of snakes, right? So what I'm saying is at some point, Lucas, people are going to get to that page where they post a snake and they say, I got it from this guy named Samson. Oh, did you? And guess what? They'll be informed. And word of mouth, man, like I said, at some point they will be informed because now you can't get away with posting a Samson snake without somebody telling you, do you know what the fuck you just gave money to? You know what I mean? Like and a lot of times they're like, no, I didn't know. I'm sorry. Well, you know what? Here's the Slither Files, and it's like shit. So it's either way, it's long term, it's not going to be good for this guy. I'll tell you that.
No. I agree. And that's what I'm saying. Like the self-policing and what we're doing is going to be effective, and a lot of people were up in arms and being really mean to me, MJ. Because I mishandled, right? Like I didn't get him arrested and they didn't understand the full story. But what we're doing is actually
you're not a fucking lawyer, you're not a detective, you're not law enforcement. You're
right.
Creating awareness. Like you're gonna be mad at me because I haven't put anybody in jail either. Like what the fuck's your guys' problem?
Right. So at the end of the day, like I said,
who are these people really mad at you? Are they even fucking relevant? Are they anyone relevant?
Yeah, quite a bit.
Who?
Yeah.
Tell me. No, who's one person? I want to know.
I know that. So I know frustration came from the Pruitts and Cody, who was who's a big supporter.
You're talking about
Aubrey.
Okay.
Aubrey, Brittany. I had a long conversation with Brittany over and again, I mean, I got mad respect for Aubrey. I bought an ocelot for Aubrey. I like Aubrey a lot and everything. But again, when they were talking about I talked to them directly about the situation and fumbling the football, right? That was a direct quote that I received from them. And then of course, you have the peanut gallery about everything going on other people. But yeah, I mean, there are individuals that are in the retic industry that do carry some weight that were misinformed at first. And talking shit about how this was handled, not having all the facts. Now, this is the second episode that I've gone that my podcast was the first. Now yours is. I broke it down to everybody via bullet points who thought that they knew the information and didn't. And so I'm hoping, right, that some sense has been given to them. But at the end of the day, I knew me doing this was going to create, enemies, create people that didn't approve and, oh, you're making us look bad. And, but like, I got these pictures. I mean, how would you feel if I had these pictures and sat on them and no one knew about it? But I knew.
I mean, why would I have my feelings with prehistoric death? Like, why am I so like that? Because I saw what I fucking saw. I don't care who the guy is anymore after what I saw. That's fucking goddamn terrible. I saw that in person too. So yeah, whatever. I don't give a fuck what you think of me, because that right there kind of gave me PTSD and it scarred me. Are you kidding me? You can go fuck yourself. If you are upset because that made me feel some type of way because how much I love these animals, go fuck yourself. You can't tell me how to feel. And if you have a platform, you should speak the fuck up. Because guess what? Fuck any of these big people. Fuck any big dog who wants to stay quiet. They can kiss my ass.
Yeah. And I mean, from a humbling perspective, like I'm like barely making it into the scene of retics, and people are, finding out who I am and what I'm doing. And so to say that I have a platform, like I'm not even going to go that far. Like I'm getting there, right? With the retic lounge. And
you need to accept that, bro. You have a platform. Stop downplaying it. It's a sick ass fucking podcast and it's gaining traction. And honestly, it's who else in the retic world has a relevant fucking podcast that covers the shit that you guys are covering. So dude, no, you have that platform. You did what you had to do.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that. I guess from my perspective is in terms of longevity, really, right? Like I'm still very new in the game, even though, I do think our podcast has definitely provided value to the community. But
right.
Yeah, I'm where I hope that this continues to go is people are made aware of it. Where Samson thrives is getting new people, right? And so this needs to be something like you said, right? When someone says, here's my first retic, got it from Slither or Cassandra, whatever the hell they decide to rebrand to, that we're able to provide that feedback to make sure that they don't do business with him again, because he is hurting. Samson, if any of you guys have been following Samson for as long as he has, I don't know what you have seen him do on social media, but Samson is not a quiet person. And when someone comes after Samson, he loves to be loud. And the fact that he is this silent, he's scared. He's shitting himself right now. And as disgusting as this sounds, especially being a therapist, like that's a good feeling for me.
I mean, shit and Samson just goes together. It's like fucking goddamn pancakes and waffles or syrup. It's just, that's what you think of. You think of Samson, you think of shit.
Right.
So it's fine. But I think somebody has to do it. We're the chosen ones. I don't care, bro. Like at the end of the day, I go to bed going like saying, man, I went to bat today for the fucking animals. Like I fucking, you know what I mean? If these animals could speak, they'd be like, MJ, that was sick. Good job. You know what I mean? Or Lucas, keep that shit going. It's, I don't get it. I can't stand anyone who takes advantage of people of one thing, but when you take advantage of the animal, you know what I mean? And I just feel like this guy found a system that he just took advantage of, meaning like he could have the most worst conditions anybody could think of and still sell snake. And that's what he's that guy Cody or whatever still sold the snake to that guy. You know what I mean?
Right. And one thing that we spoke on the phone the other night that you mentioned, and it didn't cross my mind, but there's been a lot of conversation since this has come out about the retic community in terms of like reducing number of clutches that they're going to produce and really worried about overproduction. And so I don't know. I'm hopeful that all of this sparked a movement to really look at ourselves in the mirror as a retic community and think more ethically when it comes to what we're doing with these animals. Really understand your limits, and put the greed away of, I have to have this, I need to do this, and really just try to dial in, produce less clutches, less animals, and do something specific and just start caring for the animals the way that they deserve to be kept. Like retics are a snake that, like, in the last 5 years, we've had more movement than there was in the previous 30 years of keeping retics in terms of ethics and husbandry and proper keeping and UV lighting and larger enclosures, right? Like, I mean, that's why is that new? And I'll admit, when I first started buying retics and thought about being a breeder and everything, like RHACS were so mainstream. And,
Right.
you know, this new generation of retic keepers and people that are coming from other industries because of the marketing that Garrett's done to bring people into Superdoors, it's shaking the retic community. And I think this on top of that is adding to that. So I think there is a silver lining with all of this. And I'm hoping that all of us can really just look at ourselves in the mirror as breeders and like look at ourselves and like, what can we do to really do better for our animals?
Yeah. And what's crazy is like, as much as people who've been fucked over by this guy should speak out, we're in a position where we're all being fucked over by this guy. Just based off his actions and how far shit could go with what he's doing, it's going to make us all look bad. He's fucking us all over. You know what I mean? That's why I don't understand, man. Like, we have to take accountability. We're in the streets, right? And I know everyone's not the same, but goddamn, you see an old lady getting mugged, or you see something that you should like stand up for. I hope anyone could do that or stand up for, but like you don't. There's just certain things you don't let slide. Like, and mind you, like this is shit that will fuck with my sleep at night if I don't take care of it. You know, but you know, it's good to see that shit's getting taken care of. I just like, for instance, how much effort are you even putting in still on the Slither Files at this point? Are you still listening to other people? Are you still gathering data and all this other shit, or are you at a point where you're like, man, I'm gonna just let nature do its course and see what happens?
So after my live on Friday, I made a public statement and told people to keep me accountable in terms of like, I definitely need to take a step back and take a break, right? In the sense of like, I've been going hard at this now. This has been since April, trying to set everything up. This has been consuming my free time. I'm on my phone all the time. My family sees heightened stress. And so there's definitely a part of me that needs to take a back seat for a moment to allow this to go on. But I'm still working one other avenue to pile on the shit that Samson has to deal with and get him fined. And so I'm working on that. Now, in terms of like the Slither Files, it's kind of been on, we have a couple of moderators on there that approve posts and everything. I kind of chime in from here and there when I just want to give some bits of information, but that's kind of going now that we have post approval on. No one, you know, we don't have to deal with bullshit anymore and irrelevant posts, but yeah, there's still one other avenue that I need to pursue that could tackle on big fines and fees and possibly shut down his operation and business until he fixes certain things that it'll hurt him more.
I think the biggest message I want to have for tonight is for anyone out there, because, you know, obviously the big fucks, not all of them. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I got plans, right? But you're right. Majority of the big people don't want to say shit, right? So guess who's listening? The small fries. I don't want to say the small fries, okay? Maybe the homie Shane's a small fry, but I ain't no small fry. But maybe the smaller ones, you know, the people aren't as big. What should we do? What do we do? What more can we do? Okay, and I want to hear it from you, Lucas.
So I think I said it before. So I mean, I'm exploring an avenue, and I'm gonna, you know, if you want to know what this avenue is, and you want to support, and you want to try to also contact, the more people that contact, please message me. But as far as what we need to continue to do, like I said, I think the biggest thing next is to continue to push hard to make the ties and connection with Cassandra and Samson, because again, Cassandra's following is massive. And really the only thing that I really ask for people is to just, as long as we all are not turning our shoulder towards this, and any time that we see it on our feed, or any opportunity that we have to share, is going to go a long way to make sure that this doesn't fade out. So that's my biggest fears. This fades out like all the other shit that's happened with him. And so we just need to continue pressing. And maybe for this first month, we press hard, and then we just make people aware as the time comes, because we've done damage. And so, yeah, I mean, if I had to really just boil it down, it's keep the conversation going. And really, let's focus on trying to make that connection with Cassandra and Samson, because that's the big gap that we have, where Cassandra's not losing a following. She was at like 60.3K when this all started, and she's still at the 60K mark.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's I think something that we need to continue to do. And then also, like, if you have a story to share about your experience working there, how he treated you, the multiple counts of stories that I've heard about sexual harassment and all these different things, like any picture that we can continue to paint Samson in the light that he truly is, right? From the grooming, the sexual harassment, the animal abuse and neglect, from employment negligence, right? Not providing bathrooms for their employees, not allowing them to take proper breaks, not paying them overtime when they were working 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, right? If you have a story to share, find a way to share it. I don't even care if it's just on your page or on the Slither Files, or if you want to come on a podcast. But like, here's the thing. A lot of people are scared about the whiplash that they're going to get from Samson. One thing that I've come to realize, because I was also kind of worried about that when I went public with this, is there's so much out there now. When Samson did his little post about his apology, or not apology, but his statement, most people don't even remember, but he tried accounting my success because of him. He talked about me quite a bit in that. No one even paid attention to that shit because no one cares what he has to say anymore, because on that statement, he admitted to the deaths of hundreds, maybe even thousands plus of animals. And so when you convicted yourself in that post, he doesn't have a platform to hurt you anymore. So share your story. Reach out to me. We'll talk about any barriers to that, but I think that needs to also continue to happen.
Best case scenario, when would you like things to go back to normal, man? Like, when would you like to just do Lucas and the snakes? I mean, if you could snap your fingers, would you, like, if we could make this all go away, I'm sure, would you want that? I'm assuming, but I mean,
No, not at all. Trust me, this has been a burden, dude, and this all sucks, but like, it goes back to the animals, right? Again, I said it at the beginning. I don't need to make money off of snakes. I don't need to breed these animals to be happy. Like, I have 8 different locality retics in my garage right now. I don't know if you guys understand how fulfilling it is when I walk in there to look at all my animals. I don't care about my reputation. I would like to be seen in a positive light that I'm doing this, but at the end of the day,
so don't say, hold on. Don't say you don't care about your reputation.
No, and that's where I was going. Like, I definitely care about it, but at the same time, if you guys are going to put me under, a microscope and try to hang me at the cross because I'm doing this, like, I will accept that fate. Like, so be it.
But then again, that's not it, because you have people who would ride for you. Like, you have people who are fucking with you. So what you need to do, Lucas, is not listen to that other bullshit and just fuck with the people who fuck with you. I think personally, because you can only spend so much energy on this, bro. And like you said,
for sure,
you did a lot of work, a lot of groundwork that a lot of motherfuckers didn't want to do, where it's being talked about amongst different podcasts and people are doing videos, which is good. But you at the end of the day should just invest on the people rooting for you, and you have a lot of people rooting for you right now. So
for sure. So that's kind of what I talked about on Friday on my podcast, and something that I've talked to some friends about. I'm really going to put in my energy towards the TRL Patreon members, posting, sharing my animals. But yeah, I do at some point, and very soon, am going to disconnect a bit, continue to just make it about my animals. And if I have an opportunity to share this information for someone who's unaware, I want to continue to do that. But no, I would never want to erase what I'm doing or what I did or the people that have even helped me to there's a lot of people that convinced me to do what I did and people that I shared the information to. But no, I from the beginning, I said I would way rather be known as the person to take down Samson Pruitt than the person who creates 100 world's first retics.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you this. You excited for your next retic clutch?
Bro, yeah. I mean, the next one, the pairings that I'm doing right now is a Ocelot to a Coyote Superdwarf. So
Jesus.
Yeah. So we're getting there. And then I also have a Rennet Ghost Superdwarf pairing this year. I I got Ternate Ocelot plans for this year. Pure Slayers that are really hard to do. Like this season for me is going to be really, I mean, obviously
groundbreaking. I'm assuming.
I mean, groundbreaking in the sense for the community, but also just kind of like everything that I've been wanting to do, like for myself, like to try to create, like it's checking all the boxes. Like locality that I've been wanting to breed for a long time is Slayers. Slayers have historically been difficult to breed. That would be super fulfilling for me. Taking the Rennet Ghost into Superdwarf stuff, taking the Ocelot into Superdwarf stuff, like that's all. Those are advancements, because at the end of the day, a lot of people are looking to get more manageable size snakes for retics. So,
and your customers are the ones that will keep you relevant. And guess what, bro? Like, you know how picky I am about whatever retic I would ever buy. I guarantee I buy a retic from you. Okay, so that right there, you need to just keep doing your thing, Lucas, because everything you just said sounds like fucking a dream to me. I want all that shit in my mix, and I'm not the only one, man. And day by day, your shit will grow and grow and grow. And the thing you stand tall on is the well-being by your animals. And that speaks volumes. Okay. And this is my wrap-up question before we end things tonight. Okay. And you can close out with anything you want to say, by the way. This is just my wrap-up question for you. Hold on. Damn it. What I just say before that? No, it's a good one. Hold on. I've never forgotten.
So we were talking about what I'm excited for, my parents, my breedings. We were talking about snapping and wishing that this wasn't here anymore.
Hold on. It's gone, bro.
I'll let you think. I'll be quiet.
Hold on, bro. It's gone. I'm tripping. I've had a long day. I've been at the pool all day. Hold on. That's no excuse. Oh my God. No, let's keep talking. Fuck it. Okay. What's your favorite locality?
Man, to be honest, man, my favorite locality changes every freaking week. But if I had to give you just like, oh man, for uniqueness, Halmaheras, but mine Halmaheras generally are assholes, so like I don't like them for that reason. As far as like look goes, Ternate Halmaheras, but I also have a sweet spot in my heart for, Slayers, Sumatrans. I mean, dude, it's way too hard. I like. How about this? My favorite locality are localities.
But like, would there be a preferred locality you would recommend to a new keeper? Like, obviously, let's say you have someone who watches this podcast, they become a part of your Patreon page even, and they hit you up and they listen. I don't have any retics. I may have this, and that, but I want to get into it, and I just want something like I want something as easy as possible. And obviously, the size is what it is. But like, is there a recommended locality out there for someone just getting into this? You feel like?
So, I would definitely. Oh man, my gut keeps telling me to go to recommend Ternate or Ternate, and that's only because of such a wide variability, sustainability with different bloodlines, and they look different than any other locality. Now, one thing that I would warn them against is, when they're babies, that first year, right? That first year that you have them, man, they are scared to death. And they will bite you every time that you open up that tub and you want to work with them. But it's weird. Like after that year mark, they snap out of it and they start to gain that confidence. So they're a manageable size retic. My next behind that would likely be Kalatoa, just for the accessibility and being able to. There's plenty of them out there. They're small, but my gut keeps telling me to go Ternate just because they just are above and beyond different than any other locality.
All right. So, I mean, this isn't it. I'm not gonna lie. I think the one I had is fucking goddamn Gone in the Wind, man, which is crazy. Normally I could wheel it back in, but fuck it. This one's a good one. So, for any big breeder who's listening tonight, all right, let's just say, whatever that category is, but we all know there's a category of big breeders. I'm not gonna lie, big breeders fuck with my channel. It is what it is. Let's just say they're listening right now, big breeders in the retic world. What would you like to say to them? Like, what would be your message to them? Like, if they could hear you out right now, what would you like to say to them, Lucas?
If you're a big breeder, it's because you've done something in the industry that has changed what we do, whether it's creating different morphs, whether it's creating world's first, whether it's even just the beginning of keeping and breeding retics. And I'm always going to be thankful for you guys for leading that way. And the only thing that I'm going to encourage you guys to do is to just take a step back and reevaluate the number of animals that you produce, and maybe shrink down and provide your animals with just a little bit more. Really get back to it's all about the animals, because I think we all start there. But I think once we get to a big point, it starts to become more about the clout and the financial aspect. And so if you think I'm talking about you, like, just look at yourself in the mirror and see if you could do better. We can all do better. Me being small, I can do better. But really, overproduction is an issue. Scale back, and yeah.
Man, hour and 45 minutes went by very quick. I got to say,
did.
we just had shy of 165 people tapped in for tonight, man. So thank you to everyone who gave us the time of day, mainly Lucas the time of day, but get the likes up. Make sure you go subscribe to the Retic Lounge. Shout out to Nate. Shout out to obviously Lucas. Keep that content coming, man. What's there to come for the Retic Lounge? You want to drop any kind of any
Yeah, I'm super excited. So we're doing a segment of the history of reticulated pythons in captivity. We dropped the first part of it that went all the way back from like the 1700s all the way up until like the 1970s, and that we released 3 weeks ago. This Friday, we have the second segment that's going to be from 1970 to 2014, right before the Lacey Ban Act. And I'm telling you right now, there is not a more comprehensive history of reticulated pythons that you will find anywhere. And so it's a 3-part episode. The third part that's going to be released in 2 to 3 weeks is going to be from 2015, like post Lacey Ban Act up until now, and it's going to be focusing on the superdwarf and locality craze that's going on. So it's a very nerdy thing. It takes a special someone to really want to nerd out, but man, I take pride on having our guest on, Glenn McClellan, who's leading the way, who's done all the research. You won't find a more comprehensive history on retics than our podcast.
I love it, man. Keep that energy, Lucas. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, when times get rough, obviously hug your family, but then go to those snakes and look what you're doing with them, man.
And let them try and kill me.
Be proud. Oh my God, it came back to me. It came back to me.
Do it. We're ending on it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Dude, I did not want to end like that. Woo! Can't wait to drink a beer after this too. It's gonna be epic. I'm gonna have a good night. I found it. I'm so happy. Oh God, it's gone. I'm just kidding. All right. So, dude, I'm not gonna lie. One thing I don't like talking to some big breeders, and I don't know if they heard my podcast and then they're just pretending like they didn't hear it and they're telling me how they don't like this idea. But correct me if I'm wrong. What is wrong with having like an updated collection tour video of your facility posted either or pinned on your Instagram or somewhere for people to see? Is that like a really like evasion of privacy, you feel like, and that's why somebody should avoid that? Because a lot of people are like, well, I don't want people to see where I keep my stuff, where I live. But I'm like, hold on, it's your collection. I'm not asking you to come through your front door.
Right. I'm not asking you to have a car cam of like you turning into the street of where you live and then pulling up into your house. No. So
but how easy it's just like, you show me your animals, like, and like, let's see a date on when this was, that type of shit.
Right. No. I mean, I totally think that it's something that it's not hard, as much as people are active on social media and posting videos of their animals and producing content. Because anybody who wants to be relevant has to do that anyways. It's not hard to do. I guess like one drawback is like, there are some people, for some reason, I don't understand why. I mean, a lot of people do agree with this, but a lot of people are secretive about a lot of the animals they have or projects they're working with, or, have animals from other people that, they're keeping on the DL. And so doing a whole facility tour could possibly, like, if someone doesn't want people to know that they have blue hypos, but doing that facility tour is going to show that they have blue hypos, like, that's going to ruin that for them. But at the end of the day, but
like, Lucas, like, how easy is it just not to show that snake and just give us an idea? Like, right. Put
your finger over the camera as you're going through.
You get to, like, if you come on, you can tell a lot by the person's floor. Like you guys need to just be more detailed out there what you're looking at. Like, look for these red fucking flags is what I'm saying.
Right. And I mean, I'm the first to say that, like, with the amount of animals that I have at any given day, if I walk into my garage, I'm going to see shit in there. And I mean, it just happens when you have a collection of 20 plus retics. But, when you just when you actually care for your animals, like I don't mind if people see if I have snake shit in one or two of my enclosures, because that's a part of keeping snakes in general. Like we all do, right? Anybody who keeps them on a larger scale.
Yeah, Jube's in the comments. She's my homegirl from Canada, but she had like a fellow pet keeper. Definitely not on Jube's level, but no disrespect. I'm just saying. But she posted something like she had like a nasty face when people, breeders, do a video of their snake and there's like a urate in the background. Like,
right.
And they're like, and it's like, why would you do that without are you kidding me? This is the real life breeding.
You obviously right
when it comes to breeding.
you obviously only have one or two snakes if that's the case.
Shout out to Jube.
But no, I mean, Weston has been a big proponent. As a matter of fact, with the Retic Alliance, initially he was going to be an admin. He was trying to advocate for, like, if people want to get into the group, they have to post a picture or a video of them and their animals. And I think that criteria is a little, because we're trying to build a community on Facebook, right? And that's a big barrier for some people. But like in terms of like just transparency, here we go. To answer your question, at the end of the day, the people who 5, 6, 7 years from now who are going to be successful and well known in the Retic community are the people that keep it manageable, keep it very specific, and who keep in better enclosures and who are willing to be transparent about it. So if you're scared to be transparent about how you keep your retics, again, that's time for you to look in the mirror.
Yeah, and I don't want to call this guy out, but dude, I open up tubs and have piss and shit with 300 ball pythons, 10 pairs of carpet. So what the fuck? That's not an excuse. So you're dead go no because you have that many animals. So if you have that many animals and you can't keep up with that shit, why the fuck would you have that? That is it. This is what I'm talking about. Like, this is the kind of shit where if you have someone out there, no disrespect, bro, I don't know who you are, but you're scared to show off your shit because you have that much going on. Why do you have that much going on?
Right.
I'm just saying. And honestly, you called yourself out right there, buddy. So I would do some deep soul searching right there. And honestly, at the end of the day, like, I got nothing to hide, bro. Like, I'm standing tall on all my shit, and that's what I'm happy for. But there needs to be more people like that. There should be people proud to show off their room.
Right. Exactly.
And the ones who can't because their overhead's so big, that's the problem.
Right.
Your overhead right now in this day and age, you shouldn't have a big overhead like that. Like, you need to figure it out.
The only reason why I get shy about showing off my garage and everything, like my animals are in great condition. The cages are always kept up and clean. It's because I have a metal rack up against the garage door in the back that is so fucking unorganized with a bunch of junk and shit because of my ADHD and my disorganization. That's the part I don't want people to see. But as far as my animals go, I'll get on camera anytime and show people my animals.
I mean, I get it, man. Listen, I know I have shit that is constantly shitting and pissing. And what's crazy is I did mine when my room needed to be clean. And I was like, dude, my technically tomorrow's my cleaning day. And I was like, I was dying to open up a tub that had shit in it. Cause I'm like, I don't care. Like, listen, I know there's shit in tubs, but like, honestly, a fresh shit is a fresh shit. You can't be mad at a fresh shit. Now, mind you, if there's multiple shits in there, old decaying ones, and then there's okay, why are there multiple shits in there? Why is there shit smeared across the fucking wall of the tub?
Right. So it's one of the, like, if the shit no longer looks brown and it looks gray, you left it in there way too long.
Yeah. Whew, right. I'm telling you right now, you got no excuse. There's no excuse why you wouldn't want to show off your room. I'm sorry. I will shit all over that. And you know why? Because your overhead's too big. There you go. Go look in the mirror, buddy. Do some fucking soul searching.
And that's a problem in the Retic community. It's exactly that statement that I kind of made to big breeders. We really have to stop with we need to have some impulse control. And I'm guilty of getting a lot of animals, but I'm at the point right now where, like, genuinely speaking, I don't have an interest to bring any other animal in my collection because I'm at where I'm at. And you got to understand the limit. I think what happens to a lot of people is they get too many babies too quick, and then you end up with adult retics, and you don't realize how much work it's going to be.
Well, listen, the whole era before all this shit was maximize, breed what you could breed. Right. Fucking 300 clutches, 200 clutches.
World's first.
Fucking, I got 17 morphs in this ball python. I need to hold back all of them. You know,
I got 18 clutches paired this year. It's like, wait, what? Like,
you
what?
know what's crazy? I was that guy a year and a half ago. Not even. I was like, I can't wait to hit 30 clutches. Oh my God.
Bro, that was me. That was me about a year and a half ago too. Like, I wanted to make breeding my full-time thing, and then I came to the realization like that's not going to look good at the end. Less
is more, man. Especially if you're working with shit that just is so exciting to you. Like, if you you don't need You don't need it's just not the numbers, bro. It's really not the number. It's you having to work with shit that you don't want to sell.
That comment right there that Jake Klotz just put, JK Reptile, super easy to collect baby retics. 3 to 4 years later, bro.
Yeah.
A lot changes when you got an 18-inch retic and you decide to just go bang, 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 and all of a sudden
aren't they so cute in tubs?
Right, dude. Right. And then
so adorable. I just love, but I know that's why I was so gun-ho about super dwarfs, man. And yeah, listen, I fucking wrote on all that talk about 6 feet, 7 feet this. And mind you, I do have a 50% that's 12 foot, and she's big. She's a fucking big hoe for sure. But listen, I'm okay with that. Like, I don't want to ever get that.
She's thick.
She's sexy. Yeah, she's a sexy bitch. Anyways, man, goddamn, we killed it tonight. You killed it tonight, first and foremost, because this is just keeping shit real, man. And you know what? The truth hurts, but the truth is undisputed. And that's all we were speaking for tonight. And I got to say, thank you so much, Lucas. Enjoy the rest of your night. And yeah, man, you'll be back on here again for sure. Hopefully not wrapping too much around drama. It's more about the locality shit that you're hatching out, because I'm interested. But everyone, let's give it up for my boy Lucas.
Appreciate you, MJ.
Exotics, ladies and gentlemen, and the Retic Lounge. Give it up.
Appreciate it, dude.
Listen, I got your back, dog. Have a good night. I'll talk to you soon, bro.
You too. Take it easy, everyone. Thank you.
Peace out. Whew. Thank you, guys. Everyone who tapped in, I appreciate you. Oh, I love having real talks like this, man. I just feel like I feel better getting stuff like this out there, because regardless who the older era of keepers are, that's the older era, man. That ain't us. We're fucking new. This is a whole new era of shit, and we should create these standards for ourselves and police ourselves. I hate saying that because I hate the police. I hate the police, but I'm just not a police guy. But we got to crack down on this shit, because it's the animals that we're standing up for, okay? And it's us standing up for every new keeper coming into this game. That's the future, right? The future relies on any new people who are continuously coming into the game, and we have to take care of those people, take care of ourselves. And this was an amazing episode. Thank you so much. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you have not already. Okay. You can catch Trap Talk Reptile podcasts every Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays now. Those are the official days of the week. Sundays, goodbye. So seriously, I'm not doing Sundays anymore. But Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays, and then of course every other Friday for Reptile Community Roundup. Stand by for those. But guys, I had a good time. I really did. And I thought tonight was very informative. And also, don't forget, like I said, if you want to support what I do, but if you really want to tap in with over 170 trappers, okay, all about the animals, do not sleep on the Trap Talk Patreon family. Go down to the very first link in the description below. Click on it. Join the Trap Talk Patreon family. Get a link to the Discord. Taps you in with over 170 trappers. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate you, Patreon members. I appreciate everybody who watches this and gives me any kind of attention as far as what I'm trying to get out there. And thank you, man. Thank you so much for being a part of this. This has been a fun time, and we're going to just keep going. Things are just getting started. Remember that this episode was brought to you by the Reptile Super Show, #1 show in the country. So if you're in Cali, okay, Anaheim Super Show is right around the corner, July 8th and 9th. Be ready, okay? Then you have Pomona right after that, all right? And if you want to get the most epic, highest quality of quail, head over to Instagram, follow my boy Blake Exotic Feeders, because my boy Blake is bringing some serious heat to the quail feeder game, and that's a fact. All right. And then again, last but not least, shout out to the Reptarium. I love you, Brian. Love everyone at the Reptarium. Keep it cracking. Keep the legacy alive. Keep it going. Shit's not going to stop. See you at the top. And I'll see you guys here Thursday, because guess what? Serious all-star venomous roundtable going down. Dude, when's the last time I had an epic venomous trap talk? All right. And if anyone out there who is tapped into the venomous community knows that these three guys are probably the biggest hitters in the private venomous community world. And we got lots to talk about. Lots. Patrick Holmes, Kyle Vargas, Alexander England going down this Thursday. Okay. And it's actually episode 355. I got to fix that. Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate everyone who was involved in the live chats, all the super chats. Seriously, you guys are amazing. You're beautiful, but have a good night. I'll catch you guys here Thursday. And it's a wrap. Thank you, Lucas. Thank you, everybody. Peace out. Cheers.